Time now for my take. Much is still being said about the Steve Harvey mess-up at Miss Universe and whose fault it might be and who feels the most bad. Well, as a former Miss America winner, I can't imagine what it would have felt like to work as hard as I did to get to that stage and then have the host not get it right. Some people have said the font on the final card seen here was too small for Harvey to accurately see who the real winner was. Some have said that the teleprompter showed Miss Columbia as the winner. Some have said Steve Harvey didn't come to all the rehearsals and wasn't prepared. Some have said it was all a publicity stunt for ratings. That would be totally crazy. I actually don't think any of that matters, because what's done is done. The only thing we know for sure is this: Miss Columbia will never be able to forget what it feels like to have the crown on her head and then have it all taken away. And Miss Philippines will never be able to experience what it truly feels like to win. It's impossible to get that exact moment in time back. Miss America has protocols in place to ensure something like this never ever happens. Let's hope Miss Universe does now too.
She once graced the stage at Miss America, but today Miss Puerto Rico, Destiny Velez, is finding herself at the center of a controversy, suspended indefinitely over a series of tweets that she sent. It all started when filmmaker Michael Moore posted images of himself outside Trump Tower with a sign reading, "We are all Muslim," telling the GOP frontrunner that if he wants to ban some Muslims, he'd have to ban everyone. Miss Puerto Rico did not agree with this, and according to published reports, repeatedly tweeted messages at Moore like, "Hold a sign that says, 'We are all believers in Christ.' Why are you defending Muslims that haven't done nothing for the USA? And all what Muslims have done is provided oil and terrorized this country and many others." Multiple exclamation marks. She has since deactivated that Twitter account. Kat Timpf is a National Review reporter and Fox News contributor. So she's banned. What do you make of this, Kat?
Well, what she tweeted was obviously inappropriate. It was in bad taste, but it's really unfortunate because now it's being branded as she's so terrible. We're not focusing on how what Michael Moore did was also just so ridiculous. The thing about "we are all Muslims" is that we're not. Plenty of people are not Muslims. I'm not a Muslim. I respect Muslims. I have Muslim friends. But the thing is, you don't have to agree with Donald Trump or agree with Michael Moore. It's not one or the other. He's being ridiculous. He's trying to act like he's some cool little hippie bro, and he's not. He's not a nice guy. He's horrible.
All right, so let me just inject this. She did release a statement. She's apologizing, saying, quote, I apologize to the people I've offended with my words. I am first and foremost a hashtag upstander," she used on Twitter, "and as such I stand up against bullying." She is putting this out there as bullying, and she has apologized. Do you think that she should be allowed back into the Miss Universe pageant?
It's up to the pageant. It's up to what this organization that she's representing wants to do. At the same time, at least she apologized. When Michael Moore, he posted something saying, "Hey, don't be mean to her." But then he said she might be a better representative of Mississippi or Alabama. So he wants to throw a little jab into the South there, which is not a very kumbaya thing to do, despite the brand he's trying to push here. So the apology is nice. It's up to that organization. But you really got to be careful what you tweet and what you say if you don't want people to come after you. It can be a big thing.
No one knows that better than you, Kat Timpf, because right now,
right, that's true,
you are coming under fire for comments that you made about Star Wars, and you're actually receiving death threats?
Yes, I received a lot of death threats, even some people saying I'm coming at 8 a.m. to kill you, which is always nice to know what time something is, but I don't want to die. So
what is it that they're so upset about, Kat, that you made remarks about Star Wars that were not in line with their thoughts and beliefs?
I insinuated at 3 in the morning that Star Wars fans were nerds, which is a joke topic that I'm sure happens a lot. And if you're an adult and you're sleeping in a parking lot for a movie on purpose, I'm going to make fun of you, and I'm not going to be sorry for making fun of you because that's funny to me.
So it's turned out to be a smash hit. You're looking at images of the movie there, record-breaking numbers. People went out to see that. Do you regret such comments, Kat Timpf?
I don't, because I still don't like it, and I've had a lot of people tell me privately, of course, because this is apparently a very serious matter, that, they don't like it either. I don't like space movies. I don't like romantic comedies. And I'm not going to ever see either kind of those kind of movies.
You don't mess
I'll make
with
fun
the
of people
Star
who
Wars
like them.
fans, Kat.
I guess not. I guess not. It's it's a religion, I guess. Yeah, but I'm not sorry. You know what? You have to be able to make jokes, even if it's about something as serious as Star Wars.
Oh, well, you always speak your mind, and that's why we have you on tonight.
Yes.
Thank you, Kat.
Thank you.
All right. Well, breaking tonight, a major military operation against ISIS underway as we speak. Iraqi forces, under the cover of U.S. airstrikes and with the support of American advisors, launching an assault against an ISIS stronghold just miles from Baghdad. Welcome to the Kelly File. I'm Sandra Smith, in for Megyn Kelly tonight. In May, ISIS overran the city of Ramadi. Iraqi troops retreated. The defeat was largely seen as an embarrassment, exposing a huge weakness in the U.S. strategy to defeat the Islamic State. Ramadi's fall was a big blow. The city is critical in that region. It's the capital of the country's largest province. And just 60 miles from the Iraqi capital, it was just 8 months ago that ISIS raised their black flag, imposing their cruel rule over Ramadi's 500,000 residents. And tonight, we're learning many of those same civilians are being used by ISIS as human shields. Overnight, U.S. and coalition aircraft hammered ISIS positions, and right now, Iraqi forces are struggling for control, facing homicide bombers, sniper fire, and hundreds of IEDs lining the city's corridors. For more on the battle and how it will impact the greater fight against the Islamic State, General Jack Keane is retired four-star general, former vice chief of staff of the U.S. Army, and chairman of the Institute for the Study of War. General, welcome tonight.
Glad to be here, Sandra.
So where are we as far as the fall of Ramadi to the Iraqi army? Will this happen? We know that this military operation is underway right now.
Yes, it's almost a certainty it's going to happen. The reality is the Iraqi army's got this thing surrounded, north, south, and east. They've been working on this, for weeks. There were thousands of ISIS fighters in Ramadi. They're largely gone. They're down to a few hundred. They are using the people as human shields, as you indicated. But the most significant obstacle they have are literally thousands of IED mines that are fortified and protecting the ISIS fighters inside the city. The Iraqi army has a capability to breach that. It'll be deliberate, it'll be methodical. They're going to take casualties doing it, certainly. But they will eventually take Ramadi, to be sure.
And how big of a victory would that be, General?
Well, it'll take us back to where we were prior to May. And we can't make too much out of it, but it does underscore something that we don't say enough, and because we've been so critical of the president's lack of a coherent strategy that's moving far too slow. Listen, the Kurds have literally beat ISIS at every battle that they fought, with air power supporting them to take back their land in northern Syria and northern Iraq. Now, admittedly, that's not Raqqa in Syria, and that's not Mosul in Iraq. But these fighters, these ISIS fighters, are not 10 feet tall. But the real problem we have here, and so our audience understands, is that ISIS is sitting on Sunni lands. And to retake that land, we don't need just Shias in the Iraqi army to do it, because they won't hold it. To hold that land, we need Sunni travel forces. And right now, we don't have anywhere near the numbers that are necessary to do that in Iraq or in Syria. And in Iraq, the specific problem is as much a political one, Sandra, as it is military. By that I mean President Abadi has got to bring the Sunnis back into the political process, but the Iranians are pushing against that. And we have got, as a strategic political objective, to reduce Iran's influence on the Iraqi government and get these Sunnis back into the process so we can train tens of thousands of Sunni travel forces so they can hold this territory and protect it. The Iraqi Shias are not capable of doing it. This is the elephant in the room that just doesn't get talked about enough.
All right, well, tonight we know, according to U.S. intelligence, that there's about 300 Islamic State fighters hunkered down in the city of Ramadi. You say it would be a victory if they are able to recapture Ramadi, and that leads to some optimism about retaking Mosul and the rest of Iraq. But as we look at the U.S. involvement, General Keane, We know that Iraqi forces have been backed by these U.S.-led airstrikes. U.S. advisors are on the ground. We know they're not involved in direct combat. The Pentagon has offered firepower from Apache helicopters, but we have not yet provided them. General Keane, should we be doing much more in terms of this fight and our U.S. involvement at this point?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the Sunni tribes would welcome that. They want to see U.S. commitment and U.S. resolve. I mean, we literally have to, once and for all, get all of the advisors on the ground with the fighting units, the trainers to increase the throughput rather dramatically, I think 4- and 5-fold, and get the tactical air controllers on the ground so these airstrikes are that much more effective. That would probably, Sandra, take our forces in Iraq from 3,000 to in excess of 10,000, and that will also accelerate what we're doing, because the problem we have with ISIS, if we drag it out the way the president wants, this is going to be a several-year campaign, ISIS keeps killing. They will keep killing people in Europe. They will keep killing people in Turkey and Lebanon. And as we now know, painfully aware, they will try to kill Americans as well. So stop the killing. We have to take the territory in Iraq and particularly the territory in Syria away from them.
All right. General Keane, live for us tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Merry Christmas, Sandra.
Merry Christmas to you. Well, 2015 was a busy year for lawyers with bizarre head-scratching cases that left us all thinking, what just happened? Like the lawsuit involving this woman, Jennifer Connell, who sued her 12-year-old nephew for $127,000 for breaking her wrist at his birthday party 4 years ago with a hug. We're back with criminal defense attorney Mark Eiglarsh and trial attorney Deborah Blum. All right, Deborah, I got to get your take on this. He gives her a hug. She falls. She breaks her wrist. And she's suing her nephew. Yes. $127,000.
This case is absolutely ridiculous. Her nephew jumped into her arms, which caused her to fall and break whatever she broke. But why is she suing her nephew? It's because he inherited money from his deceased mother.
There's money behind every story, right, Mark? Is this a good case?
No, it's ridiculous. Listen, hashtag worst aunt ever. But I will tell you that she did then come on to one of the media outlets and say that she was injured, obviously, and wanted to sue her homeowners association, but or homeowners insurance, and had to name him as the party and felt bad about it.
By the way, she failed because he was so excited to see her. He jumped up in her arms.
Auntie Jen, I love you. I love you.
I know it well. It's just heartbreaking. And then there's this story. The armed bank robber, remember this one? He's suing over injuries that he occurred while he was fleeing the scene of a bank robbery. He said, I was obviously unarmed and severely shot up. He claims that the medical bills that he got from gunshot wounds amounted to more than $300,000, and the officers failed to stop the other officer from trying to execute me.
Good lawsuit. No, good. This is a good one. Sandra, in his defense, this is a good one. I think police should stop using bullets. They should tickle armed robbers into submission. And then we wouldn't have these incidents like this.
All right, Deborah, do you have any sympathy?
I can't say that I have any sympathy. This guy is a bad armed robber, and he's a bad litigant.
Okay.
And
but does he have
a
case? Does he have a case, Mark?
Hell no. Hell no. Frivolous. Get out of town. And you know what? If they beat him up in the jail, I'm not in favor of it, but I'm not going to protest in his behalf.
Let's move on to the monkey. The macaque monkey, this animal rights group, PETA, is now suing on behalf of this monkey for ownership of selfies. A selfie like the one that you're seeing right now. This is the British nature photographer David Slater. He took the pictures. It's an endangered species in Indonesia. He left his camera tripod there to get the pictures. Anyway, there's a major copyright court battle. PETA is suing on behalf of Naturo the monkey. Mark.
Please. Really? No. Monkey gets no rights. PETA, you're diluting your already diluted brand in picking a battle on this case. Focus on people who really abuse animals and leave this alone.
Deborah, does the macaque monkey have any rights here?
I can't say that the monkey does, although it's adorable. I hope that the photographer gives some of the benefits and proceeds from his sales to the monkey, but PETA is definitely barking up the wrong tree here.
Mark, what does this say about all the lawyers taking on these cases?
Yeah, there's a problem. I'm not defending
Okay.
them. No, won't take that battle.
All right. Thank you
Sandra,
both for
happy
joining
holidays
us.
to you. Nice
too.
to see you.